Second race of the day for the Toyota MR2 Championship, run in very different conditions, as you can see. The grid for this race set by the drivers' fastest lap times in the opener. But lights go on and they go out, the race getting underway then. And not a great start there by Stuart Nichols, who started on row 3 this time. I think that's Nigel Ralston in the Hennessy Motorsport prepared car that's alongside him, in front of him, but I think Nichols might have got him back on the way down towards Clervaux for the first time, or possibly not. He classes the curb in quite some style there, and he's just fending off the number 6 car of Tim Herron. But the lead of the race is being held by Jim Davis, who was on pole position for this one. Lewis Ward was alongside him on the front row of the grid. Second row was Mike Wells and Christian White, so it's mixed the grid up a little bit, which makes things interesting. And it was Wells in his Roadster that made the second best of the starts behind Jim Davis, and he runs second now but has a look down the inside of Davis as they go into Tower Corner for the first time. And I think Mike Wells, who has won a race in the past, but I think in a Mark II, might just have done that there. There's Sean Traynor, number 27, coming through. He's alongside number 47, which is the car of Wayne Lewis. Sean Traynor for this one started on row 7 of the grid, so he's made up some ground already. There's Sean, last year's champion. In race 1 he was eventually classified in 9th position, so we'll see what he can do here. We're board with Stuart Nichols then, behind Nigel Ralston. Windscreen wipers, 19 to the dozen. Doing well to keep the screens clear as well, because as much as the rain on the outside of the screen, it's the misting up on the inside that can really cause drivers some problems. Down to the left-hander they go at the first element of the complex. There's Christian White, Paul Cook, Nigel Ralston. Then it's the 88 car of Stuart Nichols. Then it's Sean Traynor up from row 7. Tim Herron next through after that. Then Wayne Lewis in the 47 car. Paul Cook, though, in that 26 car, is being passed by Ralston there. So Cook, the 47-year-old director who's done 15 years of Rotax 177 karting, losing out. We go on board with Christian White. No one too close in front of him, so not too badly affected by any spray at the moment. There is Ralston, though. He has made up that place on Paul Cook. As we go on to the second lap of this race, he's up to 5th position. Fifth position, I would say, in this race. But look at Sean Traynor go. That's incredible. So Sean Traynor now up ahead of Paul Cook as well. So he is on an absolute charge here. Coming into this weekend, he was well down the championship order, the reigning champion. He sort of tailed off towards the end of last year, and he's started this season in a sort of similar fashion. Stuart Nichols has Tim Herron in his mirrors, as you can see at the top of the shot there. He's got Paul Cook, number 26, ahead of him. More misting up now, I think, on the inside there, but I don't think there'll be anything that's perturbing Stuart too much at this point. Through Jim Clark they go. Sean Traynor, getting it well off over the runoff area, but again, not sure that's bothering him too much really. He might have found that a slightly quicker line, if anything. He will have to watch out though, because he might attract the attention of the marshals, who will phone in to race control and report a track limits infringement if he's not very careful. Tim Herron here can barely see anything. He can just about make out Stuart Nichols, who's alongside Paul Cook, going into the complex and goes around the outside to pass him. So Stuart Nichols goes through. He's ahead now. That is, I think, for 7th position. So Nichols started on row 3. He's actually gone backwards, but back up to P7 now. He rounds the hairpin and goes on to the start and finish straight, and actually quite close there to the back of Paul Cook's car. Anyway, Christian White's gone through, Nigel Ralston's gone through, Sean Traynor's gone through, but Mike Wells, number 37, it is that still leads from Jim Davis in 2nd and Lewis Ward in 3rd place. Lewis started on the outside of the front row. He was 5th in race 1, but had a couple of podium finishes, you might remember, at Brands Hatch last time out, and he really has come on strongly this year, the 25-year-old from Starport. It's the ex-Matthew Wallace car that he's racing in his 2nd season in cars. There's number 6, Tim Herron. On board with him now, once again, with Stuart Nichols ahead. You'll see the pop-up headlamps on the Mark IIs have been popped up. A change there down into Tower, because Jim Davis has got back through ahead of Mike Wells, and Lewis Ward close to following him. The back stepping out on the car of Wells there. Ward, I think, will be alongside as they head through the Jim Clark S's, and he's gone through. So Lewis Ward now is up into second position, and Mike Wells, in the space of less than half a lap really, has gone from first down to third. Davis it is that leads then. Davis, who's had 3 race wins this season. Christian White has had 3. Nigel Ralphson has had 1. We've had 7 races so far, although this is only round 6 because at the previous 2 meetings we've had to run to a group format, such has been the size of the entry. Through the left-handed elements of the complex, there's 3 for the lead, then there's 3 for 4th place as well, which now includes Sean Traynor going 5th. He's through ahead of Ralphson, and he's got Chris White in front of him that he needs to try and defend. Or Ralphson needs to try and defend from Traynor now. White should say needs to try and defend from Traynor now as they make their way out of the hairpin. 2 cars then for 7th and 8th places, Nichols and Heron, and the rest following on through. But it's Davis and Ward now. Can Ward pull something out of the bag here? Could he be our 5th, or 4th I should say, different winner of the season in this, the 8th race of the year? Traynor has got past White at Clairvaux, but he's very out of shape. He's absolutely on the ragged edge. I think he must like the wet, you know. Great drive this from Sean Traynor. Back up the order he has gone. White now has got Ralphson in his mirrors, so he's looking up to his left there, isn't he, to try and make sure he can defend that position from Ralphson as they come down into Tower Corner. And I think he can, but Ralphson possibly taking a tidier line through the corner. Now in 6th place, and not too far away from getting 5th place back. Mike Wells there just splashing through a big puddle on the, more or less on the edge of the circuit there, between the Jim Clark S's and Barcroft. Barcroft's a really spectacular part of the circuit to see these cars. It's not a part of the circuit that the spectators can get to view from though, because of the geography of this circuit. There's number 8, Darren Aldworth. You remember that he was involved in that incident with Nigel Ralphson in race 1, and Ralphson certainly having a happier race 2, helped by the fact that his grid position was several rows better. Now Sean Traynor now going for 3rd place on the inside of Mike Wells. He's going to be on the outside line for the hairpin. I'm not sure that's going to make any difference to him though. No, it doesn't. So Sean Traynor is now up into the podium positions. Well, this is quite a drive. Oh, and Paul Cook's had a big tank slapper there, and he spins around harmlessly, thankfully, in the end. Now, the question is, he rejoins the circuit. Fortunately, there's no one too close behind him. Graham Mailings is the next car on the scene. It's a heart-stopping moment, though, for Paul Cook. He rejoins. Last lap of the race, and Sean Traynor is now with Jim Davis for the lead, and he's gone through on the inside line. Oh, he's gone too deep at Tower Corner. Jim Davis fights back, and Jim Davis goes back into the lead while Sean Traynor had it briefly. He made pretty short work of Lewis Ward a lap or so ago, and now he is challenging Jim Davis for what would be his first win of the season. My only concern is that he has been shown the black and white driving standards flag, Sean Traynor, during the course of this race. And let's just hope there's going to be no penalty or anything like that as he goes very deep, miles and miles away from the apex for Sunny Corner there, in conditions that are still pretty grim. Down towards the complex then for the final time. I think Jim Davis is just about going to hang on, but it's really not for the want of trying on the part of Sean Traynor, who's pushing Jim Davis around the hairpin there. Can he get the power down coming out of the corner? No, he can't. So Jim Davis is going to come through to take his 4th race win of the season in the Toyota MR2 Championship. But Sean Traynor putting in the driver of the race there to 2nd. 3rd goes to Lewis Ward, and 4th to Mike Wells. And Stuart Nichols there, just losing out at the last there to Christian White, who goes 5th. Well, as I thought there might be, there was a change to the results, and Sean Traynor was penalised 15 seconds for exceeding track limit. So all of that good work came to effectively nothing. Classified 8th in the end. Jim Davis, Lewis Ward and Mike Wells, the revised top 3. Traynor did get the fastest lap of 1 minute 50.11. The Class C win that went to Mike Wiles, of course, and Class A, well, the top finisher there was Nathan Harrison, down in 23rd overall, but 11th was Martin Fowley, Graham Mailings 12th, Paul Cook 13th after his various dramas, and Alex Knight came back to 14th. So, Jim Davis, could you quite believe it when you saw Sean Traynor come up in your mirrors there?
It's incredible. I was kind of concentrating on Lewis, to be honest with you, and thought I'd just broken away from him. And then as soon as I saw that blue stripe down that white car, I thought, oh no, he's coming through the pack. So yeah, he got some incredible pace. Well done to Sean, and I half feel like he should deserve this race, the win. So yeah, I'm happy that I held the place, but I had to work for it in the end.
It was quite a final lap, wasn't it? I think the lead changed about 3 times.
Yeah, I was saying that he's thrown some real shapes getting the car, really sideways and still getting it back, in a straight line. So fair play to him for car control, and it's good to see that his performance back and he's back up the front with us.
It's difficult conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. When I saw the rain coming down before the race, I wasn't sure whether it was going to go ahead or not. But yeah, great work by the guys. They got the race on. Got off the line fairly well. I did lose a place on the first lap to Mike, and then the story of the race was just trying to try and get him back, really. Once Jim passed him, I was able to get through as well. Jim just about pulling away from me. I tried to go with him but couldn't quite, and then looked in my mirrors with about 3 laps to go, and I saw Sean's car. I couldn't believe he'd got on terms with us. And then he came up the inside of me into the first corner, and I didn't think he was going to get it stopped, to be honest, but he did and got it turned in, and then he went after Jim, and then it was just a case for me to just consolidate my 3rd place.
Coming round the outside though in number 34 is Mark Rice.
Race 2 for the Tagiwa Civic Cup, and as ever it's a reversed grid. So on pole position we have Simon Deaton, Joe Locke, next to him row 2, Daniel Reason and Lewis Rose. But what can Carl Swift do from 10th on the grid? And the Class A cars held on their 10-second delay. We'll see them get underway very shortly indeed, but it's a good start there by Mark Grice from row 3 of the grid to come through to lead. And Swift is just treading his way carefully up the order. Class A cars have got underway as well now. We're on board there with the number 5 car of Mark Hughes, and he's got a number of cars in front of him. He started on row 7 of the grid in the sort of bottom third of the pack. Rain lights flashing on the cars ahead. There's Carl Swift, so he's got away quite nicely, actually. Thank you very much indeed, and already up into 4th position as the cars are only halfway around the first lap. But it's Mark Rice that is leading. Simon Deaton losing a place there. Swift it is that is up into 4th position. Joe Locke from the front row is in 5th place, and Carl Swift did the double at Brands Hatch, having come from the reverse grid in race 2. Can he do the same again? Well, not if Mark Grice has got anything to do about it, because he saw Alton Park went quite well in the wet, and he's running in the lead here by quite a few car lengths over the 2nd place car, which is number 77, Daniel Reason, the driver from Whitehaven, who had a podium in the first of the races at Brands Hatch. So it's Grice from Reason from Swift now up to 3rd place. Deaton is in 4th. And Reason carries a lot of speed there into the complex, but unable to translate that into a position change there. Joe Locke still there in 5th place, Martin James 6th, and it's Sam Tordoff in 7th place. So he started from 8th on the grid. Used to reverse grid races, of course, being regular in the BTCC. On board here with David Buki, who's starting to mix it with some of the slower Class A drivers. I think that's, or Class B drivers I should say. I think that's Luca Diella. It looks like Ben Sharp has actually made some of the early running here in Class A, so we'll see what he can do. I think these conditions might play into the hands a little bit of the 1.6 litre cars. That bit lighter, a bit more nimble, I would think, and better handling in these conditions. Power is not all in the wet, but Swift it is, up to 2nd place. He's dismissed Reason now, and he will now be attacking for the lead, which is still being held, I should say, by Mark Rice. Down into Tower Corner they go. Windscreen wipers on, of course. Swift 2nd, Reason 3rd, with the Tagiwa livery of the championship sponsors all the way down the side of his car. Joe Locke with the novice cross on the back of his car. The 19-year-old ventilation engineer from the Wirral, he is up into 4th place now, so he's gained a position since the last lap. Swift pushing on, headlamps ablaze. He needs them because it's wet out there, but it will also help to intimidate, I think, the Mark Grice car that's ahead. Grice not as experienced in circuit racing. They've both come from an autograss background. They will both enjoy these slippery kind of conditions. Grice holds on for the moment, but Carl Swift's not going to be far away, is he? Is he to the left of us? Is he to the right of us? Is he just behind us? Either way, he's not far away, I'm sure of that. He's toured off number 600, trying to get past 53, Martin James, and they're almost leaning on one another there through the complex. Top 3 cars still together then as they make their way towards the hairpin for the second time. Joe Locke going with them as well in 4th place. Did 2 years in supercars, did Joe Locke, as now the attack is on for the lead. Carl Swift has shown his nose to Mark Grice now, and will have the inside line for Clervaux Corner at the start of lap 3, and I think that might be it as far as Carl Swift's climb up the order is concerned. On board with Grice again, and yes, Swift goes through. There's nothing that Grice can do about him, and the area motorsport car goes through. So Swift it is that takes the lead of the race, and Grice there is delayed by all of that. Engine has cut out. Going to get it restarted. He's lost 2nd, he's lost 3rd, he's coasting, he's lost 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th. I think you get the picture. Mark Grice, I think now out of the... Oh no, he's not. He's got the car fired up again. Just as I say that, I think that's David Buki flying through, and Grice then straight lines the chicane, having lost a lot of time. Swift a long way off the circuit. Daniel Reason even further off the circuit at Tower Corner on the exit, and so that's put Joe Locke up into 2nd place now, much tidier there through Tower Corner. So Joe Locke goes to P2 behind Carl Swift. Oh, hello. That's John Peerless, who's just fallen short of the gravel. Ben Sharp there, great drive. This has just got past Sam Tordoff, the British Touring Car Championship driver in his 2-litre more modern Civic, has just been passed by Ben Sharp, the 27-year-old race car mechanic from Northampton. Just did a couple of meetings last year. It's his 2nd meeting of this season, and he's going great guns. He was trying to go around the outside of Simon Deaton now at Tower Corner. Novice crossing on the back of the car, but that was no novice move because he's done it. Ben Sharp going through, leading the class. He's got several cars between himself and David Buki here. This is a quite inspired drive. Oh, hang on, Joe Locke just going backwards on the way up towards Sunny Corner that time. Got the car flipped back round again onto the grass, but he will rejoin. And a good fight here going on between Simon Deaton and Sam Tordoff. Tordoff, BTCC driver and Chartered Institute of Management Accountants qualified accountant as well. Now showing his nose to Deaton, looks to the left, looks to the right as they come into the complex. Some useful testing here for Sam before the BTCC rounds here in a few weeks' time. Not sure they'll be running quite such wet conditions though, being honest, they are in mid-June, let's hope not. Buki now making up ground as well. Now he's just desperate to try and get back on terms with Ben Sharp, who's a bit further up the road. But the Class A cars and Class A drivers really coming into their own. So 2nd is 77 Daniel Reason, 3rd now is Martin James, but 4th is Ben Sharp. Then a gap back to 5th Sam Tordoff, 6th the 16 car of Andrew Gorgler, and 7th is David Buki. So the Class A drivers showing some of the Class B drivers how it's done. A bit of rearranging of a tyre stack going on. Was that by Martin James, our 3rd place man, who lost the bump of his car in race 1. It's been lashed up for race 2 with another spare bumper that they found lying around the paddock. And James here is going to go to P2, isn't he? Down the inside of Daniel Reason into the right-hander at Tower Corner. Reason went very wide there a few laps ago, but a much tidier line through there that time. But look how much more speed Ben Sharp carries out of the corner, and he's impatient. He's trying to get past Martin James now, as that is the race leader, Carl Swift, making his way around Sunny. But here are, or around Barcroft I should say, here are the leaders, and Ben Sharp still pushing on now. Having a look at Martin James as they go through Sunny in and then Sunny out. Not really a good overtaking opportunity. And indeed, it's not proved itself a good overtaking opportunity on this occasion, but I would be very surprised if Ben Sharp didn't get up to P3 before the end of this race. Much more speed carried into the complex. He might do it before the end of the lap at the rate he's going, almost alongside Martin James, who's been on double duty this weekend, out in the Sports Specials race as well. 3 cars together then fighting over second in the wake, well, a long way behind Carl Swift. Reason, James and Sharp. Different names featuring towards the sharp end, pardon the expression, of the Civic Cup this year, with a number of drivers having moved on. Now there's a black flag there, and I think that may have been for Mervyn Beckett, who's been driving around very slowly, I'm afraid to say, in his Class A car. And he will need to call into the pits. But second, third and fourth overall right together. We've got the Class A leader in there as well, but where's David Buki? Has he been able to make up any more ground here? Well, the answer is yes, because he's now just behind. Well, he's not behind. He's passed Sam Tordoff around Hawthorne there. So David Buki is coming for you, Ben Sharp. Down the straight they go. No cars, no Class B cars between Sharp and Buki now as they head down towards Tower Corner once again. Can Buki, in the last few laps of this race, close in on the man that's cut such an effective path through the field? Circuit is, I think, if anything, beginning to dry a little bit now, but I think it's going to stay pretty damp all the way through to the end of the race. Oh, and Reason's got that wrong, and it's going to be 3 cars side by side as they come through Barcroft. Ben Sharp on the inside line, but no, it's just James that holds on, and Reason that holds second somehow from... Oh, and then James runs wide, and I thought that might allow Reason to go through, let alone Sharp, but it didn't. Really hectic last few laps, but look in the background, Buki is closing in on them all the time. There's a great drive here from David Buki. Now it's Reason going for second place as they come into the complex. Buki must have taken about 3 or 4 seconds out of Ben Sharp on this lap. Absolutely incredible stuff this from David Buki. He is 27 years old, he's from Preston as sales manager. It's his second season in car racing having done lots of karts. Now here comes Ben Sharp. Gets a good run out of the hairpin this time. Can focus on Daniel Reason because Martin James is a few car lengths further in front. Down towards the right-hander at Clairvaux. They're starting the last lap. David Buki's just done the fastest lap of the race, by the way, to get on terms with Ben Sharp. A 1 minute 50.77. Way faster than anybody else. He's had the red mist descend in front of him. He's seen his chance. He wants to go for the Class A win. But now there's a car between them because Buki is behind Dan Reason and Ben Sharp is ahead. Ben Sharp has got a Class B between them now, and that could be so useful with just over half a lap to go in this race. Towards Tower Corner, Buki now has a look at the inside of Daniel Reason, the man from Cumbria, and he can't go through. And Reason almost pushing Ben Sharp around the corner there. It looks like Martin James is going to hold on for second place here. And Ben Sharp will have to content himself with third position. That's unless David Buki's got something to say about that. Towards Barcroft for the final time. Sharp's driving the wheels off that thing. And Buki likewise. Absolutely incredible stuff from these Class A drivers. There is the 600 of Sam Tordoff. He's been showing a few tricks during the course of today. Carl Swift well out in front with just one more sequence of corners to go. James looks a bit unsettled there, coming off Sonny. Is that going to give Ben Sharp a run on him? Going down towards the complex for the final time. And they are going into it now, and Sharp is going to try and go around the outside of Martin James this time. He'll have the inside line for the second part of the complex, and he's done it. Martin James out of shape there, but Ben Sharp has gone through to second place in a Class A car. James fights back, on the brakes with a hairpin. Not going to make it work. Ben Sharp is going to come through to take second place overall in round 6 of the Tagiwa Civic Cup, which Carl Swift wins. It's his 4th win in a row. Sharp is second, James is third, and David Buki, a great effort from him to take 4th position. Well, Carl Swift's victory margin was 3.5 seconds in the end. And those two Class A drivers, well, they can take the applause of whatever crowd is left here at Croft this evening, because they have put on a great show for us. Swift then making his way around on the slowing down lap. It is a slowing down lap because he's going very slowly indeed now. Indeed, yeah, his car is coming to a halt So Carl Swift having problems on the lap back to the pits. Steering wheel comes off, and yep, Carl Swift I don't think will make it to the podium. Still is classified as the winner though by 3.5 seconds, as I say. He was well out in front. Ben Sharp second, Martin James third, David Buki fourth, Daniel Reason fifth. What a great show they put on, putting Sam Tordoff in the shade in 6th place. David Buki got the fastest lap of the race. Mark Grice getting the fastest lap in Class B. He drove back to 8th position in the end ahead of Lewis Rose and Simon Deaton. Lettelot Azar was 11th, Andrew Gorgler 12th, Joe Locke 13th after running second for a while, Mark Hughes finishing in 14th position.
Well, Ben Sharp, what a drive that was. 2nd place overall in your Class A car. Can you even begin to put that into words?
No, not really. Like starting from the back, 10 seconds behind the other 2 litres. We knew in the wet we're quick, but we thought all the time we normally get stuck behind them, and with their power advantage, it's very hard to overtake them. But round the back through some of these things, we were just going around the outside of them, up the inside of them. You could see them sideways absolutely everywhere, and we just felt like we were glued to the tarmac in comparison. And yeah, it was brilliant, really. I can't put any words. Like everyone who's helped me over the course building this car, like we've done this on a shoestring compared to other people, you know, and it's brilliant.
Well, that's all we've got time for from Croft. Please join us again at Rockingham in September. But for now, from me, Ian Soman, it's goodbye.